Today on MUFC Pulse, we'll dive into some incredibly intriguing news. Latest on Mason Mount's injury and Casemiro'S take on Lisandro Martinez's leadership. For more on this story, check out the video. We also have some equally exciting football news coming up, so stay tuned until the end to catch it all. Welcome to MUFC Pulse. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. Mason Mount injury update. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim revealed that Mason Mount felt a slight issue in his muscle during the first half of their Boxing Day fixture, which prompted the decision to substitute the midfielder at halftime. Mount had been impressive in his new role as an attacking midfielder behind striker Benjamin Sesko in Amorim's dynamic tactical setup, showing encouraging signs of a return to form. However, he was replaced by promising academy youngster Jack Fletcher for the second half. Amorim later explained that Mount had sensed something amiss as the teams went in at the break. The player was very keen to continue playing, a positive sign in the manager's eyes, but with the squad already stretched thin due to numerous absences, the decision was made not to take any risks. "We simply cannot afford to lose more players if they are not 100%, Amorim noted, adding that Fletcher stepped in and performed very well indeed. This latest setback adds further strain to a Manchester United side already hampered by injuries to several key players during the hectic festive schedule. Mount had begun to thrive with the greater freedom Amorim's system affords him to exploit spaces in behind the central striker. The club's medical team will now work swiftly to assess whether this muscle problem is minor or if it risks extending the list of senior absentees. Should Mount be sidelined, Amorim may need to lean even more heavily on talented youngsters like Jack Fletcher to sustain the team's momentum through the demanding end-of-year fixtures. Casemiro'S verdict on Lisandro Martinez after the Newcastle triumph. Manchester United returned to winning ways on Boxing Day, securing a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Newcastle United at Old Trafford. The result ended a run of two difficult matches that had yielded just one draw and one defeat, lifting the Reds back up to 5th place in the Premier League table with 29 points. It also marked their first clean sheet since early October and provided sweet revenge after Ruben Amorim had suffered 2 defeats to the Magpies earlier in the 2025-26 campaign. Amorim opted for a tactical shift, deploying a 4-2-3-1 formation that caught Newcastle off guard from the outset. Patrick Dorgu, the 21-year-old summer signing from Lex, was handed a surprise role on the right wing, adding fresh impetus and variety to United's attacking play. The adjustment paid dividends in the 24th minute when the breakthrough arrived. Diogo Dalot launched a long throw into the box from the right flank. Newcastle's Nick Voltemade headed the ball away, only for it to loop invitingly into the path of Dorgu. The Dane raced onto the loose ball and unleashed a thunderous left-footed volley that flew past Aaron Ramsdale and into the net, his first goal for the club. Dorgu was a standout throughout the first half, blending attacking threat with solid defensive work as he continued to settle into life at United following an initial period of adaptation. The second period saw Newcastle ramp up the pressure, utilizing quick transitions to push forward, yet they failed to find a way past the resolute United rearguard. The hosts, for their part, squandered several promising chances to extend their lead. Benjamin Sesko struck the woodwork on a swift counterattack, while a long pass from Lisandro Martinez found Diogo Dalot in space, only for the fullback to fail to capitalize with a clear opportunity. United did not dominate possession, managing just 34% and 329 passes compared to Newcastle's 603, but they were clinical when it mattered. The hosts registered 10 shots with 3 on target, while the visitors had 13 attempts with 2 on target. The defensive organization under Amorim proved highly effective, a marked improvement from the previous 2 league outings in which United had conceded 6 goals. Casemiro reflected on the performance in his post-match interview. He expressed how comfortable he felt in the team's current setup, praising the defensive solidity displayed throughout the match. He described it as a clear demonstration that the side is capable of such resilience, expressing hope that it would prove beneficial for the team moving forward. Turning his attention to Lisandro Martinez, who had recently returned from injury and captained the side on the night. Casemiro highlighted how well Licha led the team and defended throughout the encounter. He added that he was delighted to see the Argentine back in action for the group. Meanwhile, Amorim addressed the tactical adjustments in his own post-match comments. He explained that sometimes it is necessary to adapt to the demands of the game, noting that there is no rigid tactic in those moments. Acknowledging that his patched-up side had reverted to a back 6 in the closing stages, with Dorgu and Dalot tucking in ahead of the fullbacks, he stressed the importance of winning matches even when not playing at one's best. He emphasized the value of spirit and togetherness within the team, pointing out how the young players had defended every cross and thrown their bodies on the line. Amorim admitted that the side had suffered considerably in those final moments, simply trying to survive, yet they had come through it. He suggested that this gritty victory, one of the most satisfying in terms of collective effort, reflected the progress being made at the club. With United now in 5th place and a sense of growing confidence, the Portuguese manager appeared emboldened to continue evolving his approach as the season progresses. On Tuesday evening, Manchester United welcomed Wolves to the Theatre of Dreams for the second installment of their Boxing Day doubleheader. Just a few weeks ago, the lads absolutely battered Wolves down at Molineux, putting 4 past them in a proper hiding. That sort of result should give United a nice bit of confidence and momentum heading into this one. They'll be fancying themselves to get the better of a Wolves side who are still very much struggling at the wrong end of the table. Latest on the Kobbie Mainoo transfer saga. With the January transfer window looming large, the corridors of Old Trafford are once again thick with the scent of speculation. Manchester United are no strangers to the frantic nature of the winter market, though their history in mid-season trading has been a bit of a mixed bag. January has frequently proved a stumbling block for the Red Devils' form, yet a bit of shrewd business next month could be precisely the tonic Ruben Amorim's side requires to ignite a genuine charge for the Champions League places. Ruben Amorim has candidly admitted that sanctioning a loan departure for Kobbie Mainoo would be a tall order, particularly if the powers that be fail to source a suitable replacement. The Portuguese tactician is acutely aware that letting a homegrown talent head out the exit door without a fresh face coming through the arrivals lounge would leave his squad precariously thin. For a manager still implementing his philosophy, such a gamble could prove costly. For Mainoo, the situation has become increasingly frustrating. The 20-year-old has spent the lion's share of the campaign kicking his heels on the substitutes bench. This lack of game time has cast a shadow over his long-term future and, perhaps more pressingly, put his seat on the plane for England's World Cup squad in jeopardy. Having reportedly tested the waters for a loan move in the summer, the midfielder is expected to knock on the manager's door again once the window opens. However, the landscape at Carrington is currently one of needs must. Amorim's midfield options look remarkably light, a problem exacerbated by the sight of Bruno Fernandes limping off the pitch against Aston Villa last weekend. With the captain sidelined, the prospect of Mainoo being allowed to seek pastures elsewhere seems slim at best, as the club simply cannot afford to be caught short-handed during a congested fixture list. Amorim has been quite vocal about the mathematics of his squad, noting that without fresh blood, the numbers simply don't add up. Even with everyone fit and firing, he believes the department is somewhat understaffed for the rigors of a Premier League campaign. He maintains that at a club of United stature, the weight of expectation is immense. There is an obligation to win every single fixture, and losing a body without a direct substitution is a risk he is loath to take. The manager's philosophy is rooted in the no-excuses culture he is trying to foster at the club. He insists that regardless of the administrative headaches or injury woes, the team must remain competitive on all fronts. In his view, the collective responsibility of the squad outweighs the individual desire for minutes elsewhere, making it incredibly difficult to greenlight any departures until a new signing is paraded at the Theatre of Dreams. When quizzed on whether Mainoo could finally step into the limelight during Fernandes' absence, Amorim suggested the youngster will have the same opportunities as everyone else. He pointed out that Mainoo is far from a one-trick pony, capable of sitting deep in the Casemiro role or playing further forward in the pockets of space usually occupied by Mason Mount. This versatility makes him a Swiss Army knife that Amorim is reluctant to put back in the drawer. In a show of faith, the head coach has described Mainoo as the very future of Manchester United. He has urged the starlet to remain patient and keep his chin up, reminding him that the pendulum of football can swing in one's favour in the blink of an eye. Amorim's message is clear. The chance is there for the taking, provided the player is ready to seize the mantle when the inevitable rotation occurs. Ultimately, the next few weeks will be a test of resolve for both the player and the club. If United fail to land a target in the January sales, Mainoo may find himself staying put, playing the role of the frustrated understudy. Whether he can break into the starting 11 and cement his place in the national setup remains to be seen, but for now, he remains a vital, if underused, cog in Amorim's evolving United machine. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comment your opinion.